Holly, have you ever had a food handler's permit?
I have, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to get one at least some point in our lives.
Right?
In fact, recently I was doing some work with our drug court community here, and we got a permit at one of the parks to do a summer event, and we had barbecue and all that stuff, and the county said, "Yo, Scortis, where's your food handler permit?" So I went and got one. Well, the Utah County Jail has a new program for inmates to earn their food handler's permit, and I think this is a really interesting subject, and I'm happy to talk about it. We're lucky to have with us this morning Utah County Commissioner Skyler Beltran. Skyler, thanks for joining us this morning, and tell our listeners about this program.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. It's a great new program. I took office a couple months ago, and in my tour around the county, I went to visit the jail and went through our kitchen area at the jail, and it's a very robust kitchen. We serve Meals on Wheels every single day. They make the food for all their own inmates. They make the food for deputies' lunches and dinners, and so it's a very good program. And I asked, do we do food handlers permits for our inmates? They're learning a lot of skills, and they said no. We've explored it in the past, but we had some hurdles. So I took that on as my first big project. I said, let's figure it out. So we got the health department together, the sheriff's office, the commission office, and we formed the program. So now our inmates will be able to earn the program while working in the kitchen.
Commissioner Beltran, I live in Utah County, so thank you for representing me. But one of the things, just on its surface, it just makes so much sense to say, of course, if you're working in the kitchen and you're doing all these things, and I didn't know they did Meals on Wheels and meals for deputies. I didn't know that. But it makes sense to say, yeah, they need to have their food handler's permit, and it's not incredibly difficult to get. So I was initially surprised to see that there were hurdles.
Yeah, so it's actually fairly easy. It's a 75-minute course, and we have it set up so they can learn on their tablet. During their free time when they have their tablet, they're able to practice for the test. So they need to take 75-minute course, and our deputies needed to get certified to be able to teach the course. And so they'll go to a 75-minute course. They'll be able to practice on their tablet, and then they'll take a test, and they need to get 75% on the test, and it's mostly about foodborne illnesses and proper cleanliness in the kitchen. And, it seems easy to us to do, but some of these inmates, lowering the barrier to accomplish or receive this kind of accolade really goes a long way. If we tell somebody who doesn't, have a big education or a support system and that they need to take a 75-minute course, pay $50 in a private education facility, and then take a test at an off-site location, that might be a lot of hurdles for them.
Yeah.
But if we can do that all in-house, then we can let them, have a piece of workforce on the way out.
Commissioner Beltran, I don't know that a lot of our listeners appreciate this, but our jails have to have kitchens. They have to have areas where they're fixing the meals for the inmates, where they're fixing, 3 meals a day. And they're often staffed, in my opinion, by the inmates. In fact, some inmates get good time. They get break. They get what they call a trustee position for working in the kitchen. What I didn't realize is that you also prepare meals for others, this Meals on Wheels. I mean, you must have a pretty robust kitchen out there.
Yeah, we serve thousands of meals every single month for Meals on Wheels, and they have to prepare them early in the morning. So Mountain Land Association of Governments and Meals on Wheels program can go pick them up. And the kitchen is so robust that we may have a senior who can't chew very well, and it needs their meal for the day needs to be cut up additional, more times than a normal meal. The inmates will do that and package it separately for them. So they learn really good kitchen skills.
Can you speak a little bit to the not only the motivation behind you wanting to see this happening, but how does this impact their lives as they maybe think about leaving the jail system?
Yeah, so the fact that they have, a piece of paper that lets them go to work the next day, that's very significant. So it helps them with the skill. It helps the community through recidivism. Our goal, our most expensive thing is incarceration. So we can keep people out of the jail. That is the best thing for society. And it also helps with our labor market. There's always a shortage of restaurant workers, fast food. All of those tasks need a food handler's permit. And so we can also help our local businesses with labor.
And are you getting a good response from the inmates? That is to say, hey, you have an opportunity to work in the kitchen. You could take this food handler's class and you could work in the kitchen. I mean, isn't it a way for them to sort of get out of their cell and to do something productive? And I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is I assume you're getting some support from the inmates and people that want to do this as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a privilege to work in the kitchen to begin with, and then this will be an additional privilege on top of that. And we have 3 inmates already in the program, and we may have our first graduate in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that'll be very exciting.
I guess I was surprised a little bit that if you were preparing meals for others, Meals on Wheels, that there wasn't some requirement for that already. Right. I assume your staff, maybe some of the staff and some of the people that are preparing the meals in the kitchen have these things. But for the inmates to do that, it just seems, Commissioner, that this is a great program. And I hope that you continue to do this, and maybe it sounds like you're new to the county commission, and maybe you're looking at other ideas and other things to do for inmates as well. Yeah,
absolutely. My portfolio includes the attorney's office, children's justice, a criminal coordinating council. I have a lot of criminal justice in my portfolio, and we're always looking to better streamline that process, both as the economic cost savings, but also recidivism and, making the best opportunity for our residents.
Thank you for joining us today, Commissioner Beltran. And this really common sense solution is, I think, a really great thing and will make a big difference. All right. What other common sense things have you seen?
I think I really like this. I'll tell you, I go to jails all the time,
you should clarify that.
I've even eaten there a few times. The inmates they'll fix you a meal, and I remember when they built the new Oxbow jail out in the West Valley area. They said, "You got to come here. They got the best bakery. They got the best this. They got and it really was good. And the meals are prepared by the inmates. It's a privilege to be able to work in the kitchen. It's a privilege to be able to work in the laundry. It's a privilege to be able to do certain things. Yeah. And sometimes it's rewarded by a little bit additional good time. You can get good time taken off your sentence if you're doing things at the jail. I also think that there are reading programs where you can help other inmates learn to read. There was a program in Salt Lake County called Booked.
Oh.
Literally you're booked in the jail, but you're also reading books and you're learning how to read. There are just a lot of things going on. So yeah, good program, good idea. I hope that works out well.